Good morning, dear students. Myself Sajan S. Pawar, and I welcome you to my fourth video on hydrocarbons. In this video, we shall learn nomenclature of alkenes and alkynes and addition reactions of alkenes and alkynes. Okay, with this, let's begin our today's session. Nomenclature of alkenes and alkynes. Now, as far as nomenclature is concerned, the nomenclature of alkenes and alkynes you have already learnt. Alkenes, when I say alkenes in IUPAC system, they are named as in IUPAC system. Alkenes are named as alkenes only. We have to use all the rules of IUPAC system. We have to use all the rules of IUPAC system, such as longest chain rule, lowest number rule, lowest sum rule, arrangement of prefixes, and all those things. And as far as alkynes are concerned, alkynes in IUPAC system, they are also referred to as alkynes only. We have to use all the rules of IUPAC system. All the rules of IUPAC system. In common system of naming, alkenes are generally named as alkylenes, whereas alkynes, the first member is referred to as acetylene. In common system, the first member of the family is referred to as acetylene, and other members are referred to as alkyl acetylenes. Alkyl acetylenes. Just to give example, let us take the first example, CH2 double bond CH2. This is a two-membered carbon chain double bond. So IUPAC name is ethene, and the common name is alkylene, that is ethylene. One more example, CH3C double bond, okay, CH double bond CH2. If I take, then the alkene, this is an alkene, the name is propene, and IUPAC name is propylene. Common name is propylene. Common name propylene. I can give one more example, CH3C double bond CH2. Here H is, I'll replace it by CH3. In that case, the IUPAC name for this is numbering. If you do it 1 2 3, then this is 2-methyl propene. Okay, so this is IUPAC nomenclature of alkenes. Alkynes, if I just take, then one example I will take, the first member of alkyne is CH triple bond CH. The common name for this alkynes, the IUPAC name is ethyne. IUPAC name is ethyne only. IUPAC name is ethyne for this, and common name is acetylene. Common name is acetylene, whereas the higher members, just to give one example, C triple bond CH, this is propine. You already know how the nomenclature comes in IUPAC system. In common system, it is derivative of acetylene, therefore this is methyl acetylene. This is methyl acetylene. So this is regarding the nomenclature of alkenes and alkynes. Let's now go on to the next part, that is addition reactions of alkenes. Okay, so next, addition reactions of alkenes and alkynes. Now when I say addition reactions, Remember, alkenes and alkynes have got a carbon-carbon double bond or a carbon and a carbon-carbon triple bond. These are alkenes and alkynes. Now, this double bond involves one sigma bond and one pi bond, whereas triple bond involves one sigma bond and two pi bonds. And here, these pi bonds are loosely held pi bonds. The pi bonds have got electrons which are loosely held, and these pi bonds can be easily be broken. These pi bonds can be easily be broken by addition of electrophiles. And these are the reactions where we break pi bonds. We break pi bonds by addition reactions. So addition reactions are the reactions where the molecules such as hydrogen, halogens, hydrogen halides are added across the double bond to break the pi bond. To break the pi bond. To break pi bond. Okay, so this is regarding the addition reaction. Addition reactions may involve use of Markovnikov rule and anti-Markovnikov rule. What is that? That we shall see when it is required. When it is required. And before I go into the actual reactions, I would like to just give one more idea here. Here I should know one thing. You are learning the addition of molecules. Among these molecules, addition of molecules to alkenes and alkynes. Among these, hydrogen and halogen, that is bromine, iodine, chlorine, etc. These are known as symmetrical molecules. Symmetrical molecules. Okay, and HX, that is hydrogen halide, water, HOH, sulfuric acid. These are unsymmetrical molecules. Unsymmetrical molecules. And alkenes are again are of two different types. Alkenes, when I say alkenes and alkynes, alkene or alkynes having triple bond or a double bond and triple bond respectively. If alkene is attached to same environment, if the carbon atoms of the double bond are attached to same groups, then they are known as symmetrical alkenes. Similarly is the case here. Whereas if the doubly bonded carbon atom or a triply bonded carbon atom is attached to different groups, like one example I'll give here. This is doubly bonded carbon atom attached to H and CH3. Here a triply bonded carbon atom, a doubly bonded carbon atom here attached to two hydrogens and HCH3. So these are actually unsymmetrical alkenes. And for addition of unsymmetrical molecule to unsymmetrical alkenes, we have to use Markovnikov rule. That we shall see as we go to addition of hydrogen halide, water, and sulfuric acid. Thank you. With this, let's move ahead in the next part. So first part is addition of hydrogen. First one, addition of hydrogen to alkenes and alkynes. Addition of hydrogen to alkenes and alkynes simply involves a reaction where alkene or alkyne is mixed with hydrogen gas in the presence of platinum or palladium or nickel catalyst, and this involves addition of hydrogen across the double bond or a triple bond to form final product, that is alkanes. We shall see example. We shall see examples. First example, if I take ethene, if I take ethene, say for example, then ethene, when it is reacted with hydrogen gas in presence of a platinum, the double bond breaks, one pi bond breaks, and we will end up with CH2, CH2, and this hydrogen atom adds onto this, and we get CH3, CH3, that is ethane. So ethene is converted to ethane. Next, propene. If I take propene, then CH3, CH double bond CH2. When it reacts with hydrogen gas in presence of platinum, palladium, or nickel, the reaction take place. One of the pi bond is broken. The pi bond is broken. We'll get CH3, CH single bond CH2. The 2H, out of 1H goes here, this single H becomes double H, and one more hydrogen goes to this, it becomes CH3, that is propane. So propene is converted to propane. If I go further into the next reaction, if I just go for ethyne, if I go for ethyne, CH triple bond CH. Now here there are two pi bonds are there. Therefore, the first addition of the first molecule of hydrogen in presence of nickel catalyst or a platinum catalyst or palladium catalyst, it will give you CH double bond CH. One pi bond is broken, and these molecules will add. So one H becomes two. So another hydrogen becomes this. So you will get ethene. But the reaction won't stop here. It will again react with another molecule of hydrogen, and in presence of a nickel catalyst or a platinum or palladium catalyst, and now this second pi bond will break, and ultimately what happens is you will get up. Now this two hydrogen becomes three because one more hydrogen is come. This is ethane. So ethyne is converted to ethene, and then finally ethane. Like this I can give it for like this I can write one more, that is propine also. I can write it for propine also. So addition of propine is CH3C triple bond CH. This is propine. So here I have addition of hydrogen. So here two molecules are required. So one molecule breaks. Here one pi bond, and you will end up with CH3C double bond CH. One hydrogen goes here, you will get CH. One hydrogen goes here, it becomes CH2. So I will get propene. I'll get propene, and then another molecule of hydrogen reacts. Another molecule of hydrogen reacts in presence of platinum, palladium, or nickel, and you will get CH3, CH, CH2. CH becomes CH2 because one hydrogen goes here, and CH2 becomes CH3, that is propane. So alkenes and alkynes, when they react with hydrogen, they form alkanes. Can we convert alkynes to alkenes? Answer is yes, we can do it. For this we have to use Lindlar's catalyst. And that we have already learned in our previous topic under the heading preparations of alkenes and alkynes. So this is addition of hydrogen to alkenes and alkynes. Next. Next, addition of halogens. Addition of halogens to alkenes and alkynes. Now, this reaction is very simple. Halogen, what we are adding is in general formula. If I write a general formula, I can write it as X2. It can be Cl2, Br2, I2, and so on. So here again it is a symmetrical. Okay, so here when alkene or alkene react with one molecule of halogen to form dihalogens, dihalogen, that is di substituted alkane, that is you will end up with alkene reacts with halogen to form dihaloalkanes, whereas alkynes react with halogen and they give tetrahaloalkanes. Tetrahaloalkanes. We shall see the examples. First example, again, ethene. If I take ethene, CH2 double bond CH2, then if I react it with bromine in carbon tetrachloride solution, reaction take place, one pi bond is broken, and you will get here CH2, and this Br will add on to this, and you will get the product, that is a dihaloalkane, and this is ethene or acetylene, sorry, ethene or ethylene, it is called ethylene. So it is going to give me the IUPAC name of this is 1,2 dibromoethane, and the common name is ethylene bromide, ethylene dibromide, because it is like ethylene, one pi bond is broken and bromines are formed. If I just take propene for example, if I'll take propene, then propene reacts with bromine in carbon tetrachloride solution, and you will end up with again same thing, one pi bond is broken, and the Br are coming to that position to get 1,2 dibromopropane, 1,2 dibromopropane. So dihaloalkanes are formed from alkenes. If I go for alkynes, then you have two pi bonds, therefore two molecules of halogens are required. So I just take an example. Okay, so if I just take an example of alkyne, say ethyne or propyne, then ethyne, when it reacts with bromine, it has to require two molecules, therefore I will use a different writing work. So here Br adds up, so you will get CH double bond CH, one Br goes here, one Br goes here, so I got a compound that is 1,2 dibromoethene. The reaction doesn't stop here, another molecule of Br2 will react in presence of carbon tetrachloride solution, and you will get now CC CH CH another pi bond is broken, Br, 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 and this is now 1 comma 1 comma 2 comma 2 tetra bromo ethane. So I have got tetrabromoethane from ethine. Propine, if I just take, then you add bromine in carbon tetrachloride solution. You will first end up with the breaking of first pi bond. So one pi bond is broken. You will get here Br, that is 1 comma 2 dibromopropane. This again reacts further with one more molecule of bromine, and you will end up with CH3C single bond CH, one pi bond is broken. So here Br is already there. Another another molecule of Br adds on to this, and you'll get tetrabromoethane, tetrabromopropane. So again, here you see what happens. Alkynes are converted to tetrahaloalkanes. So addition of halogens, alkene is converted to dihaloalkanes and alkynes are converted to tetrahaloalkanes. Simply it involves breaking of the pi bond. Here one interesting point is that this reaction is a reaction which can be used as a test for unsaturation. We can use this reaction as a test for unsaturation. Here bromine molecule is brown colored. It is a brown colored substance. Therefore, I can use this test to distinguish alkenes and alkynes from alkanes. That is called as test for unsaturation. Test for unsaturation. We can use this test to test to detect unsaturation, that is double bond or triple bond. Simply or to take is what the test perform is like this. You take the compound, and to this you add bromine in carbon tetrachloride. Here bromine is brown in color. So here bromine is brown in color. So here if the compound contains double bond, then the bromine reacts with it and there will be decolorization of bromine water. Decolorization. The observation is decolorization of bromine if it take place. The observation, then it means that bromine has reacted with the compound, and that is possible only if it is a double bond or triple bond, that is it should be unsaturated compound. So compound is unsaturated. That is the inference I am going to get. Compound is unsaturated. However, if the color does not, if there is no decolorization, if no decolorization is there, that means bromine has remained intact and it has not reacted with the compound. That means the compound is not having double bond and triple bond. That means the compound is saturated. So this test can be used to detect unsaturation in the compound by simply take in a compound is taken in a test tube. To that you add bromine and carbon tetrachloride, shake well, decolorization, the compound is unsaturated. No decolorization, the compound is saturated. So this is the second reaction, which is reaction of alkenes and alkynes with halogen. Next reaction, addition of hydrogen halides to alkenes and alkynes. Now, as far as hydrogen halide is concerned, we are taking only three, that is hydrogen chloride HCl, hydrogen bromide HBr, hydrogen iodide. They can be added onto alkenes and alkynes, and when it is added to alkenes, alkenes are converted to alkyl halides. Alkenes are converted to alkyl halides, and alkynes are converted into geminal dihalides. I'll explain you the meaning of these when I go for examples. As far as the reactivity is concerned, the order of reactivity of hydrogen halide, then you see hydrogen iodide is more reactive than hydrogen bromide. Hydrogen bromide is more reactive than HC, hydrogen chloride. And these reactions oftenly follow a rule. That rule is known as Markovnikov rule. Markovnikov rule. Here we have hydrogen halide. If I just take a general formula as HX, then this is a negative atom and this is a positive atom. Okay, so we have to follow a Markovnikov rule for this. The Markovnikov rule is that during addition of hydrogen bromide, that is a bond a molecule where the bond is formed between two different atoms, it is called as unsymmetrical molecule. Unsymmetrical molecule. When you add to unsymmetrical alkenes, unsymmetrical alkenes and alkynes means those in which the double bond or a triple bonded atoms are attached to different groups, they become unsymmetrical. In that case, the negative part of the added molecule, that is X in case of HI, HBr, HCl, the goes to that carbon atom of the double bond or a triple bond which is attached to least number of hydrogen atoms. This is Markovnikov rule. Least number of hydrogen atom. This is Markovnikov rule. So Markovnikov rule is during addition of hydrogen halides to alkenes, halogen should go to that carbon atom of the double bond which is attached to least number of hydrogen. If you want to go against this rule, that is Markovnikov rule, then you have one more rule that is known as anti-Markovnikov rule. Anti-Markovnikov rule, for this you have to use peroxide. The same reaction is carried out in presence of a dibenzoyl peroxide. Peroxide. In that case, what happens is the Markovnikov rule is not followed. Exactly opposite is followed, and the exactly opposite is followed is that the when you use peroxide, that is dibenzoyl peroxide. Examples we shall see. Addition of unsymmetrical molecule HBr. This is applicable to only HBr. It's applicable only to HBr addition. When you add HBr to alkenes, according to Markovnikov rule, the negative part should go to the carbon atom which is attached to least number of hydrogen atoms. However, here the Br, that a negative atom of that added molecule goes to that carbon atom which is attached to least number of hydrogen atom of the double bond or triple bond. That we shall see example. We shall see that in detail in the next slide of mine. So here anti-Markovnikov rule is applicable to HBr, but it is not applicable to HCl and HI. Why it is, that we shall see. This is also called as Kharash effect because Kharash and Mayo were the two scientists who discovered this in Chicago. This was discovered in Chicago by Kharash and Mayo. Therefore, it is also called as Kharash effect or Kharash effect or peroxide effect. Kharash effect or peroxide effect. That we shall see as we go further into the examples. So, addition of hydrogen halides. Follow Markovnikov rule. Addition of hydrogen halides. So, addition of hydrogen halides to alkenes and alkynes. We shall see examples based on that. Now, it has to follow Markovnikov rule. Or anti-Markovnikov rule, that we shall see when to apply and when not to apply. Now, we have got two types of alkenes. One is called symmetrical alkene, where a double bond is formed and the two carbon atoms of the double bond are attached to same atoms. Then one example is ethene. This is an symmetrical alkene. For this, there is no Markovnikov rule. So if I just take ethene, then ethene reacts with the hydrogen halide. Say I'll take bromide for example, hydrogen bromide. Then you should know what happens. One pi bond should break. One pi bond should break. So I will get here CH2 single bond CH2. Now this HBr should break and one H should go to this carbon and one H should go to the Br should go to the other. Since this is a symmetrical molecule, the number of hydrogen atoms are same. So one hydrogen atom goes to one carbon and Br goes to other carbon atom. So I will end up with CH3 CH2 Br, that is bromoethane. Bromoethane. This is common name. Common name is ethyl bromide. Ethyl bromide. So ethene, when reacts with hydrogen bromide, it forms bromoethane and ethyl bromide. On the other hand, if I suppose use propene, you know propene is the one where you see the carbon atom which is involved in the double bond has got different environment. Here this carbon is attached to two hydrogens. If I number it, first carbon number 1 is attached to two hydrogen and carbon number 2 is attached to one hydrogen and one methyl group. So they have so it is an unsymmetrical molecule. So here when I add HBr, then you will see that it has to follow a rule. That rule is Markovnikov rule. It has to follow Markovnikov rule, and Markovnikov rule says that, okay, so here I'll just break a pi bond. So I will end up with CH3 CH CH2. Okay, now here we have H and Br. According to Markovnikov rule, when you add an unsymmetrical molecule like HBr to unsymmetrical alkene, the negative part, that is Br, should go to that carbon, should attach to that carbon atom of the double bond which is attached to least number of hydrogen. Now here this carbon is attached to two hydrogens, this carbon is attached to one hydrogen, so Br should go to carbon number 2. So here Br should go to carbon number 2. So I'll get Br is going to carbon number 2 and H will go to carbon number 1, and therefore I will get here 2 bromopropane, that is the common name is isopropyl bromide. So propene, when reacts with hydrogen bromide, it gives you 2 bromopropane isopropyl bromide. In place of Br, if you take HBr, if you take HCl, you'll get chloroethane and 2 chloropropane. If you use HI, you'll get iodoethane and 2 iodopropane respectively. So this is regarding addition of hydrogen halide to alkenes. Addition of hydrogen halide to alkenes. If I go for addition of hydrogen halide to alkynes, addition of hydrogen halide to alkynes, then I will take two examples here. I'll take two examples here. One example I will take is ethyne, that is CH triple bond CH, ethyne. And propine, I will take an example, that is CH3C triple bond CH, that is propine. Okay, now here two double bonds are there. Here we have two pi bonds, therefore we require two molecules. So I will write like this: addition of HBr. Now this ethine is a symmetrical molecule, so Br can go to any carbon atom because both contain same number of hydrogen atoms. So I will get here CH double bond CH, one pi bond is broken, one pi bond is broken, and one pi bond is broken, and now here one, this H goes to this H, this carbon, and will get CH2, and Br goes to this and you will get, so here I have got bromoethene, but the reaction doesn't stop here. Next, HBr adds onto this, and now this pi bond is broken. Now you see I have CH2 CH Br. Now if you just take this carbon atom and this carbon atom, if I number it as 1 and 2, first carbon atom is attached to only one hydrogen and second carbon atom is attached to two hydrogen. Therefore I have to follow Markovnikov rule. The Br atom should go to that carbon atom of the double bond which is attached to least number of hydrogen. Therefore I will get here Br and here H. So this is now 1 comma 1 dibromoethane, and this is the two halogen atoms on the same carbon atom, so they are geminal dihalides. They are called geminal dihalides. Details you will learn in the second year under topic haloalkanes. If I get propine, then propine, see what happens to propine. You add HBr, the reaction take place. You will get here CH3 C, one pi bond you break, one H goes to this carbon, one HBr. Now here this carbon number 1 and carbon number 2, Br, according to Markovnikov rule, Br should go to that carbon atom which is having least number of hydrogen. Here this carbon is having only one hydrogen and this carbon is not having any hydrogen. Therefore Br goes to carbon number 2 and H goes to carbon number 1, H. So I will get here 2 bromopropene. The reaction doesn't stop here. One more molecule of HBr attacks onto this. Again it has to follow Markovnikov rule because the number of hydrogen atoms are different. So here I will get a Markovnikov rule applicable. So here again the Br should go to the middle carbon atom only because middle carbon atom is attached to least number of hydrogens. So I will end up with CH3 C, Br is already there, CH2, and one more Br will come. So H will go here, it becomes CH3. So it is 2 comma 2 dibromopropane is the final product. So these are the addition reactions of hydrogen halides to alkenes and alkynes. Here I have to just explain Markovnikov rule. I have explained. Now suppose I have CH3CH double bond CH2, that is propene, and I am reacting with hydrogen bromide, only for hydrogen bromide addition, not HCl HBr. If I want a reverse of this, here in first reaction Br goes to the carbon number 2 which is having one hydrogen atom, that is least number of hydrogen. It is following Markovnikov rule. If you want to go against it, then I have to use a reagent, that is dibenzoyl peroxide. benzoyl peroxide has to be used. So this dibenzoyl peroxide, what happens is, because of presence of dibenzoyl peroxide, addition of HBr, you will get it will follow anti-Markovnikov rule. It will follow anti-Markovnikov rule. That is, the Br which is there, that is the negative part, will go to that carbon atom of the carbon-carbon double bond which is attached to more number of hydrogen. So here carbon number 1 and carbon number 2, you will see the Br goes to carbon number 1, and I will get a product that is CH3 CH single bond CH2. So I have here broken one pi bond, and now HBr has to be added. H should go, now Br should go to this carbon atom, and H should go to this carbon atom. So I will end up with here one bromopropane, also known as N dash propyl bromide. Okay, now you see, because of presence of dibenzoyl, addition of HBr take place opposite to Markovnikov rule. That is called anti-Markovnikov rule, or peroxide effect, or Kharasch effect. Kharasch effect. Why this happens, if you want to know, then we have to go for the mechanism of the reaction. We have to go for the mechanism of the reaction, and that we shall see now. Okay, we shall see the mechanism of addition of hydrogen bromide to propene. Mechanism of addition of hydrogen bromide to propene in absence of peroxide and in presence of peroxide. Now in presence of peroxide, in absence of peroxide, mechanism. Here the step number 1, here this follows a reaction where the breaking and making of bonds are taking place by hydrolysis. You know, hydrolysis you have learnt in your previous unit, where you know the bond is broken in such a way that one of the atom involved in the bond takes away all the electron, becomes negative, and the other atom becomes positive. And mechanism in presence of peroxide, follows homolysis. And you already know what is homolysis. Homolysis means breaking of the bond in such a way that the free radicals are formed, and that you have learnt already. So mechanism of, first we shall see the mechanism in absence of peroxide, that is Markovnikov rule. So here the rules, here what happens is, let's see the mechanism. Okay, so here first step is step number 1. Hydrogen bromide will split into H plus and Br minus ions. Okay, then step number 2. H plus ion attacks propene. So here propene, CH3 CH double bond CH2. Propene is now H plus ion, the proton from HBr attacks onto this to this double bond, and here this is possible in two ways. What one is that H plus may attack onto middle carbon atom, or it may attack on, if it attacks to middle carbon atom, I will end up with CH3 CH, the double bond is broken and we'll get a single bond CH2, and H is going, this H is going on to this carbon atom, therefore this becomes CH2, and therefore this carbon atom should become a positive because it is having one bond less. On the other hand, there is one more possibility. That possibility is this H may go to this carbon atom. If it goes to this carbon atom, then I may get one more product. That is, here it is CH3, CH, CH2. So this hydrogen is going to third carbon atom, means this becomes CH3. In that case, the middle carbon atom has lost one bond, so it acquires a positive charge, and they are carbocations. They are carbocations. They are called as carbocations. Carbocations. And we already know from PUC first year previous unit, that is unit number 12 from organic chemistry, this carbocation is primary carbocation, and this carbocation is secondary carbocation. And you know, secondary carbocation is more stable than primary carbocation. So most stable is secondary, that is the second one. Most stable is secondary, that is secondary carbocation, that is this. Therefore, now in step number 3, who should react? In step number 3, most stable only will react because it is present for a longer time. So in step number 3, you will get CH3, CH, CH3 plus. Now see, from HBr, H plus is already reacted, now Br is remaining. That Br will react with this. So Br minus attacks this, and this is negative, so negative will attack positive, opposite charges attract, so you will end up with the final product. That final product is CH3, CH, CH3, Br, and this is 2-bromopropane. 2-bromopropane. And here you see why the negative part, that is Br, is going to the carbon atom which is attached to least number of hydrogen. It is because of the stability of carbocation, and that is there in the mechanism that explains why the Br goes to the carbon atom. The Br goes to the carbon atom which is attached to least number of hydrogen. This reason is secondary carbocation is more stable than primary carbocation. This is the mechanism of addition of HBr to propene in absence of dibenzoyl peroxide. We'll go into the next now, the mechanism of addition of HBr in presence of dibenzoyl peroxide. Okay, now the mechanism of addition of HBr in presence of dibenzoyl peroxide, that we shall see, it follows anti-Markovnikov rule, that is Kharash effect. How it is that we shall see. It has 3 steps, it has 4 steps to follow. Step number 1. The dibenzoyl peroxide undergoes homolysis. Like this. The dibenzoyl peroxide undergoes homolysis, and it forms benzoyl free radical and phenyl free radical. It forms free radicals. This is step number 1. Then step number 2. Phenyl free radical now reacts with HBr. The phenyl free radical, see now, the phenyl free radical which is formed, C6H5 dot free radical form, now reacts with HBr, and again homolysis will take place. It will take away the hydrogen to form C6H6, that is benzene, and it forms bromine free radical. Bromine free radical. Now this free radical attacks propene in step number 3. And there are two possibilities, and there are two possibilities by which it can happen. You see, you see what happens now. The double bond will break. The double bond will break. So a double bond is broken. So this double bond is breaking. Now once this double bond breaks, the electron, it will break in a homolytic way. So electron, so Br can go to either this carbon atom or it can go to this carbon atom. So if Br goes to carbon number 1, and if Br goes to carbon number 1 is this case, you see Br goes to carbon number 1, then carbon number 2 becomes the free radical. And if Br goes to carbon number 2, if Br goes to carbon number 2, then carbon number 1 becomes the free radical. And if you see it carefully again, carbon number 1 in first example, CH2 dot is a primary free radical and CH dot is secondary free radical. And in previous topic, you have learned that secondary free radical is more stable than primary free radical. So even though we have a choice of formation of two free radicals, secondary free radical is going to be formed in large extent, and that is going to react in the next step. That is going to react in the next step. So a last step would be step number 4. The last step would be this secondary free radical is going to react with the product, is going to react with the hydrogen bromide. It's going to react with hydrogen bromide, and you see what happens here. The last step, the last step. So the last step is this. Since secondary free radical is more stable, so product number 2 in the third step, product number 2 in the product number 2 in the third step will react with hydrogen bromide, and you will end up with the Br going H. Now H will go to this carbon atom, H will go to the middle carbon atom, and we will get CH3, CH2, CH2Br. That is a major product, that is 2-bromopropane. 2-bromopropane. And this is how you can explain why in presence of dibenzoyl peroxide we get a least substituted product as a major product. That is, the Br atom of the HBr goes to that carbon atom of the carbon-carbon double bond, which is attached to more number of hydrogens. So this is addition of HBr in presence of dibenzoyl, in presence of dibenzoyl, in presence of dibenzoyl. So this is about addition of HBr to propene in absence of dibenzoyl peroxide following Markovnikov rule, and in presence of dibenzoyl peroxide following anti-Markovnikov rule or Kharash effect. Next, addition of sulfuric acid to alkenes. Okay, now addition of sulfuric acid to alkenes. So I am just taking two examples here. One is ethene, that is CH2 double bond CH2 ethene. Okay, so when you add sulfuric acid is actually H2SO4, and the actual formula of sulfuric acid is S double bond O. Sorry, it is uh, double bond O, double bond O, single bond OH, single bond OH. So here this will react, only this will react. So here you see again addition reaction. Here this is symmetrical molecule. So oxygen atom, this goes to this group, goes to this group, entire goes to one carbon atom, and H goes to one carbon atom. And since both carbon atoms are same, so we will end up with here CH will end up with here will end up with, see here, CH2 single bond CH2 a pi bond is broken, one pi bond is broken, one sigma bond is there. So this H goes here to one carbon, so it becomes CH3, and this remaining goes here, so here it will be OSO3H, 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 or we can write SO4H, OSO3H. This is hydrogen, so this is SO3H we can write, or SO4H we can write. So this is ethyl hydrogen sulfate. Ethyl hydrogen sulfate. If you want, we can write it as SO4H also. This is a second reaction where you see propene reacts with sulfuric acid. We can write sulfuric acid like this also, and again the same thing is happening. H and O goes to, now here O should go to that carbon atom. Now here O, see there are two choices, single bond is broken. Okay, so here a single bond is broken, so we have got CH2 CH3. Now this O should go to that carbon atom which is attached to least number of hydrogen. It has to follow Markovnikov rule. So H goes here, so H goes into this carbon atom, so I will get CH3 CH CH OSO2 OH, or OSO3H you can say, OSO3H we can say, and this H goes to this carbon atom, so we'll get propyl hydrogen sulfate. This is addition of addition of sulfuric acid to alkenes. Now the last reaction and for today's class, that is addition of water. Addition of water. We shall see that. Okay. Addition of water. Now when I take addition of water, it is actually reaction in presence of dilute sulfuric acid, in presence of a few drops of concentrated sulfuric acid. We can use few drops of concentrated sulfuric acid. For this I will take two examples. I'll take three examples. First example I will take is alkene, that is CH3C double bond CH2 CH3. This is methyl 2-methyl propene, 2-methyl propene, and then I will take ethine. Okay, I'll take ethine. Okay, now 2-methyl propene. So when 2-methyl propene is reacted with when it is reacted with water in acidic medium, so when it is reacted with water in acidic medium, water is H2O, I can write it as HOH. So in presence of acid, so I'll say H plus. Reaction should take place. You see the oxygen atom, so here a pi bond should break and we should get CH3 C CH3 and CH2. So a pi bond is broken. Now this should go follow Markovnikov rule. That means the negative part should go to that carbon atom of the double bond which is attached to least number of hydrogen. So here carbon number 1 is attached to 2 hydrogens, carbon number 2 is not attached to any hydrogen. That means the O should go and attach to this second carbon atom. So here you see what happens. O goes to this, means OH goes here, and H goes to the first carbon atom, so it becomes CH3, and this is, it is tertiary butyl alcohol. It is tertiary butyl alcohol, and a conversion of 2-methyl propene to tertiary butyl alcohol. Ethine, if I just take an example, let me directly take, so the last reactions, that is reaction with alkynes. So you see here I have taken an example of ethine and propine. Ethyne, when ethyne reacts with water in presence of mercuric sulfate and sulfuric acid, it will again addition reaction will takes place. OH goes to one carbon, H goes to one carbon, one pi bond is broken, CH2 double bond CHOH. Here the reaction stops here, and we have an unstable product. This will rearrange itself and forms CH3CHO, that is acetaldehyde. So this is conversion of ethyne to ethanol. Ethanol. Propine, when reacts with water, again same in presence of HgSO4 and H2SO4 at 333 Kelvin. Here also we have 333 Kelvin temperature. Reaction take place. Again see, OH should go to that carbon atom which is attached to least number of hydrogen. So OH goes to the second carbon atom because it is attached to one carbon. So CH3C OH and H goes to CH, becomes CH2, but this is isomerized into propanone, also known as acetone. So here ethyne is converted to ethanol, propine is converted to acetone, and these are the addition reactions of alkenes and alkynes. So we have seen addition of hydrogen, halogen, hydrogen halide, that is again addition of hydrogen halide in HBr, addition of HBr in absence of dibenzoyl peroxide, and addition of HBr in presence of dibenzoyl peroxide, that is respectively Markovnikov rule and anti-Markovnikov rule. Then addition of sulfuric acid, addition of water. That's it. That's it for today's class. The remaining reactions of alkenes and alkynes we shall see in the next class. Thank you. I'll stop here.